Hello everybody, I'm here on our assignments page on Canvas, and the big deal for this week, starting Monday, is an assignment worth 100 points. That's 10% of the course, and I want you to do well on it, so bear with me on the instructions, but also read through them after you've heard about this. Okay, it involves using sources. And you'll go at least 2 different places for those sources. And of course, it's on the wicked problem as you see it, the problem you stated on that last piece of writing, that short little 2-paragraph piece of writing. Remember that? This one's 5 paragraphs, so not that much more writing, and a bit of summarizing for the most part, except for the first and fifth paragraphs. But the middle paragraphs, second, third, and fourth, you'll basically be summarizing. So, find the sources first, obviously. You won't have much to write about until you do, so get right on this. And you're going to start with an article because that has a few more steps to it than just a simple website. This is an article from the A to Z databases list on the Mesa College Library's website. It's a good place to go because you can find articles that are not available through Google or anywhere else on the web. These are subscription databases. A database is a big warehouse for articles, and they tend to be more specialized, and they have a subscription price, which Mesa College pays on your behalf. So if you go over to the left side of your screen, right over here, if you hop on down to the Mesa Library link, you'll see that it's got a couple of places you want to know about. Let's start with what I mentioned a minute ago, A to Z databases under student resources, right? And there are a bunch of them, hundreds, in fact. So figure out what topic your wicked problem falls under, and you can do a subject search. You can always just use multiple subjects. Give that a try if you want. And I like a few of these. There are a couple on multiple subjects I like a bit better. EBSCOhost, really handy. This one, the multi-database search. And over here under I found that InfoTrack works pretty well when it's available, but EBSCOhost works darn well. Now let's say you try this for a few minutes. 20 minutes goes by, you haven't found anything, stop, get help. So if you go back one screen, well, 2 screens in this case, 3, who's counting, right? If you go up here to Ask a Librarian, this is pretty dang cool because they're there 24/7 to help you. That's their job, to help students find what they're looking for in a college library. Now, of course, you can go into the library or you can call, but for my money, the best move you can make is try the live chat. And just say, okay, here's my assignment. Here's what I'm looking for. Tell them the type of source, the topic, that it's a problem you're studying, want to find more about. Okay? They will help you out. But you might try the database first just to get an idea what's out there. Okay? And you have to find other sources as well, of course. Let's take another look at that assignment, shall we? Okay. And you see that we have reading questions and discussions this week as normal. Now you can use Google only to search for a website source and not an article. And remember, you're going to need 3 sources for this. 3 sources right there. So you could use a website and 2 articles, or 2 websites and an article. But I want that variety because I want you to get used to using different types of sources in different ways. So if you go to Google, you can search for a web source, a website source. And this is somewhat tricky, but in a different way than finding an article. Because with the open web, you've got to worry about websites put by people who don't really know anything, or people who are trying to manipulate your thinking to buy into some crackpot theory or to some blowhard who's got a blog going or whatever. So look for certain types of sources. And my best advice is to look for sources that are put up by research that has been published, or local, state, federal government agency website, one of those 3 different levels of government, right? They're a good place to look. University affiliation, which like Mesa College website, you'll see that edu at the end. That tells you it's a university or college. Not always a guarantee. It could be some diploma mill somewhere. It's got to be a college you know about that's nationally known, I would say. Or a well-known organization like a nonprofit with some really legitimate claim to expertise. And Wikipedia, no, unless, here's the exception, don't worry about the article because anyone can go in and edit a Wikipedia article. I mean, a 12-year-old kid could go in and do it. But scroll down the bottom of the Wikipedia article and look at the sources. Those are usually a gold mine of good sources. So there are a few other bits of advice. The art of summarizing from chapter 3, and they say, I say. And once you've got your sources, you can put about your first paragraph. And this, I gave you a little kit for the first paragraph. Just combine the first paragraph from your wicked problem as you see it assignment to your stated purpose for examining 3 sources. You do that, you'll have a fine first paragraph. And of course, the next paragraph would be on one of your sources, and the paragraph after that, of course, so you get the 3 paragraphs on each source, each one getting its own paragraph. And you want to say a few things. You want to summarize the source, give the source's title, author's name to start the paragraphs, summarize, and then say something about its potential use in your work and any signs of bias that you detect. Don't quote any more than 1 sentence from each source, and I give you some advice on expertly framing the way experienced writers do. Now, the last paragraph. All you have to do is compare each source to at least one of the other sources you discuss. so we can get kind of a big picture look at what you've been doing. And then once you're done, 2 spaces below your last paragraph, which would be your 5th paragraph, type the full bibliographic citation of each of your sources. And luckily, I've got a place for you on the modules page. It's called the Purdue OWL. That means Purdue Online Writing Lab. See, they're being cute there with initials. On the web links list, open it and use the menu to find a certain type of source, electronic sources. And since all your sources are going to probably be electronic, that's the place to go. Then you just need to know which type of source you're going to put below your 5th paragraph on your expert sources overview. Okay, and be careful. If you're quoting, fine, use someone else's words. If you're not quoting, since you can only quote one sentence, paraphrase, right? That's called indirect quoting. And there's my bit about Wikipedia. And remember, it's got to be the same problem you mentioned in the previous assignment on your statement of a wicked problem. Okay, submitting it. Easy peasy. Microsoft Word, rich text, or Adobe PDF. If you've never heard of rich text, it's what all computers come with. Even if you don't have Word, you will find rich text somewhere on your computer. It's a quick, cheap, and dirty text generating app that you can use on almost any laptop. If you have Microsoft Word, great. But remember, if you're using Google Docs, because, well, it's free, you can save something in Microsoft Word or Adobe PDF. I prefer Microsoft Word, but I'll accept either one of those. And then you're ready to submit it after you do one more thing. Read your sentences carefully, one at a time, to spot errors in punctuation, grammar, and so on, spelling, especially if I identify any on your previous writing. This is due October 9th. Now, I'll let you get on with it, but remember, if you get stuck, if you have a question, there's always the class chat room. Be sure to ask me. I check this often. And of course, we have the usual discussion postings and reading questions. Have a great week.